My dear comrade Lawrence, the time has at last arrived to perform the musical piece which introduces the program that we are the hosts of.
That much is true, Robert. However, I would like to inquire about the actions I must perform for the aforementioned musical piece.
I have an idea. You strum the strings of a fretted musical instrument to produce an aesthetically pleasing sound while I provide vocal accompaniment. How does that sound?
Robert, although this does sound fun, I must regrettably inform you that I lack the multi-fingered appendages that would be necessary for the performance that you requested.
Oh dear, Lawrence. Forgive me for this glaring oversight. To compensate for your lack of such appendages, how about you play a large brass instrument of bass pitch instead?
With all due respects, Robert, this sounds like it would spell the untimely demise of what is left of my dignity. With this large instrument around my person performing this musical number, I would look rather foolish.
Lawrence, I ask you to please cast aside your insecurities. I encourage you to perform the musical number anyway, as it may bring to you a sense of enjoyment, amusement, or light-hearted pleasure.
Negatory. I will not perform these actions.
The presentation of entertainment of which this musical composition is an introduction to is primarily intended for young humans below the legal age of majority.
You have persuaded me. I will regrettably participate in this charade. However, I insist that the young members of our audience refrain from making spontaneous sounds and movements that are instinctive expressions of lively amusement, as it would make me feel a great deal more self-conscious than I already am at this point in time.
This is all very well and good, and I am happy to hear that you will participate. However, we cannot keep our audience waiting for much longer, or they will grow restless. With this in mind, we had better walk out onto the stage and commence the performance. If you associate positivity with the act of engaging in conversation with Solanum lycopersicum, if genera of herbaceous vines in the gourd family native to the Andes and Mesoamerica cause the corners of your mouth to turn up, exposing your front teeth and indicating a sense of pleasure or amusement. If you particularly enjoy dancing in triple time with starchy root vegetables native to the Americas, as a pair turning rhythmically around as you and this specimen of Solanum tuberosum progress around the passage between shelves in a supermarket which contain things that have been produced or grown via the use of farming. I have a firm belief that the following presentation of entertainment would be most in line with your very strange produce-based interests, for the title of this program is as follows.
Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food. Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food.
Examples of such plants used as food include edible green plants in the Brassica genus, as well as marshland plants in the Apiaceae family with long fibrous stalks tapering into leaves. This level of irreverent wit could only come from one source, that being
narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food.
Other examples include legumes in the Phaseolus genus grown for its edible seeds or beans, and flowering plants in the Apiaceae family native to the central Mediterranean region which are widely cultivated as herbs and as vegetables. This presentation of entertainment would be considered by some to be very satisfactory.
Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food.
To list a final example of plants of which would be deemed as food, I want you to consider a cabbage of a variety which bears a large immature flower head of small creamy white flower buds. The flavors of these plants vary between having a pleasant taste characteristic of sugar or honey, or an acid taste like lemon or vinegar. On an unrelated note, this presentation of entertainment will take approximately 1,800,000 milliseconds to reach its conclusion.
Narratives or stories involving plants or parts of a plant used as food.
Never in the history of the world has another presentation of entertainment similar to the one that is about to commence been produced and distributed. We shall again reiterate that never in the history of the world has another presentation of entertainment similar to the one that is about to commence been produced and distributed. Friends, the point in time has at last arrived when the program Narratives or Stories Involving Plants or Parts of a Plant Used as Food shall commence.